Time now for the Nick Hart Show. It's presented each week by the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including A&T Concrete, ADG Architecture and Design Group, Agrigold, All Trade Solutions LLC, AM Transport, Engermeyer Electric, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Brett's Car Care, Country Barns, Nolcon Marketing, Davis Brothers, Daylight Land Management, Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Diversified Instrument Services, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, DuBois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Duke Energy, the Dunkel Family, Friends of Mason Scheller, Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, Emerson Cattle Company, ERA First Advantage Realty Rodney Langford, Fort Branch Car Wash, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Full Metal Armory, the Grandmothers of Jackson Adams, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, Hobstadt Summerfest, Heritage Federal Credit Union, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Hillside Gardens, Hip Dentistry, Hoosier Pain and Posture, IMI Concrete, Engler Family Eye Care, Jarbo Tax Service, JMCO Technologies, Johnson Commercial Mowing, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm Agent, Kathy Solman Photography, Kiesel Wagner Survey, L&B Boutique, Little Miracles, Lowry Ag, Make Your Mark, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, MyTech Systems, National Vet Help, Perfect Climate Heating and Air, Pole Concrete Construction, by Pro Rehab, Rawhide Golf, Remax Revolution, Ripco Systems, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, by Sandy's Pizza, Scheller's Carriage Inn, Shearer Monuments, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, by Tim Barge Seed, Tai Chow, Titan Construction Partners, Triad Fabricators, Titan Youth Football League, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Vicky Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, by Wash Boss, We Simply Clean LLC, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by Young's Auto Body. Now, The Nick Hart Show, a special production of the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department and 89.1 The Bash.
Hello and welcome to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titan football team. Really bad start to this, but we're here. Week 8 it is now on the Nick Hart Show. Coach Hart, how are we doing today?
Good.
Good to hear. Talk about last Friday's game. Travel to Washington to take on the Hatchets. Big 45-6 victory. Their field looked beautiful. They had their homecoming, their senior night. Got the band to come out and do some performances. And overall, it was just a great event. Great environment, a beautiful field. But yeah, tell me a little bit about the game. How you feel it went on last Friday.
I think for the most part, really well. And I think as a coach, you kind of get, the schedule we've played. You're playing a team that hasn't had a great season, and you're always kind of worried about that letdown. Coming into the week, I thought we had a great week of practice, which is always a good sign. And then Friday, I thought we did a great job of taking care of business. And I think sometimes you get in those games and, you get up and then everybody wants to make a play, right? Like, DBs are trying to get a pick, linemen are trying to get a sack, and you kind of stop playing your technique, trying to make a big play. And I thought through the course of the first half, we did a great job of playing the right way, and playing at a high level, which is always great to see in a game like that. So it was a good half. I was pleased with the way we played, and then we're able to get our guys out and keep them fresh and get some of our young guys in and get them some Friday night experience.
Yeah, all 45 points scored in that first half. Gibson Southern almost perfect on the offensive side. Did have that one turnover to where unfortunately didn't get any points on the board that drive. But Tanner Boyd on the 919 of 27 threw for 278 yards and 3 touchdowns. Looked really comfortable. I know that Washington team, a much younger team than some of the teams we played this week. But tell me a little bit how you felt about Tanner's performance throughout that, well, but really that first half.
I thought he was great. We had great protection for the most part for him. Receivers were, doing a good job of getting open. Like the touchdown pass to Sean, did a good job of recognizing where his hot was, and as they brought pressure, through to him. He was the hot guy on that, and so, I thought Tanner, had a great half of football, and I would have liked to run the ball a little bit better, but just the way they were playing us, was leading a little bit more to us having to throw the football, and I thought we did so at a high level.
Yeah, that's one thing I've really started to notice as the year has gone on is we're starting to see a little bit of a kind of different fronts thrown at us. I know with the Heritage Hills and the Southridge game too, I believe, they're going to have those 5 wide linebackers and they're going to make you try and find some tight windows for passing. But yeah, I agree. I think Tanner Boyd did a great job last Friday in in that football game. Rushing on the evening, Sean DeLong, 13 carries for 59 yards and 3 touchdowns. Got to give credit to that defense. A lot of 3-and-outs, giving that offense great field positioning. Zach Foster with his 4th interception of the season against Washington last night. And also receiving, Sean had 4 catches for 83 yards in a touchdown. Michael Herron, 5 catches for 52 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Seth Parsons had 5 catches for 64 yards. And, talk about Tanner Boyd a little more. He does a great job of just finding open players and not kind of trying to look for his one guy to throw to every possession or every play. But, yeah, overall, offense did great. Going on to the defense, kind of mentioned, lots of 3-and-outs through that whole first half from the varsity squad. But how do you feel, the defense looked through that first half? And even with the young guys in that second half.
I thought they did a great job. And they had a great week of practice coming into the week. Like I kind of talked about it, I think sometimes you get up on people and everybody wants to try and go make their play instead of playing the defense. And I thought we did a great job of being, technically sound throughout the night. And I thought they did a great job. A couple of times where we muffed a punt where they got a 3-and-out. We muffed the punt. They had to come back out and they got another 3-and-out back to back. That's hard to do. Whenever you think you just won and you get to go sit down and get a drink and talk about the drive before and you got to pop right back up and go play. That sudden change stuff. I thought that was great. They did a good job. We gave them a short field on a fumble. And they were able to get a stop there. So they were put in a couple of adverse situations and did a great job. But, I think one thing that was big is, when Cam's kicking off like that and we're getting all those touchbacks and you got to start on the 20, that's such an advantage for a defense. So I thought we played well defensively, but Cam did a great job on his kickoffs of setting us up, with them being in a difficult field position situation. That's an underrated weapon in high school football when you can get those touchbacks and make them start on the 20.
Yeah, I know Austin, my partner in crime, who's usually at most of the games, didn't make the Washington game, unfortunately, but you hear him every Friday just talking about how much, how great of a kicker Novotny is, great of a punter he is as well, averaging about, I'd say 43, 44 yards a punt. And had some great bounces in his favor as well. But yeah, I've got to agree with you. When you've got a kicker who can put a ball in the end zone every single time, just takes a load off of that kickoff team and lets your defense come out, knowing that they're going to have to, that offense is really going to have to put a drive together and even come close to scoring despite a return. But yeah, really excited or really happy with the efforts. One another thing I want to talk about is, that Heritage Hills game was a physical game, and I'm sure some guys had some bumps and bruises. But let's talk a little bit about that second half and, how nice it was to let those guys get a breather, get some young guys in, and how those young guys played.
Yeah, it's great. I think to get them in and get them that Friday night experience is huge because at some point guys are going to graduate and they're going to become the guys playing on Friday nights. So I think to get them in and play on Friday nights and play against a varsity football team, is great. And a lot of those guys are on our scout team throughout the week and do such a great job of getting our varsity guys ready for Friday night that, to be able to reward them and get them out on the field on Fridays, is a great thing. And I thought they came in and played really well. Our defense did a great job against their varsity offense. And, I thought we moved the ball pretty well. We had some penalties that killed drives, but I thought we moved the ball well and our defense played well also. So I thought it was a really good job by those young guys whenever they came in.
Yep, got to agree with you there. But we will go ahead and take a short break. When we come back, talk a little bit about rankings, the pocket, and got Mount Vernon coming up on Friday. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash is made possible by Full Metal Armory, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Car Wash, ERA, First Advantage Realty, Rodney Langford, Emerson Cattle Company, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Jason Rainey, the Dunkel Family, Friends of Mason Scheller, Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Diversified Investment Services, Daywig Meats of Hobstock, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Country Barns, Nolcon Marketing, Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Engermeyer Electric, AM Transport, All Trade Solutions LLC, AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, and by A&T Concrete.
Hello and welcome back to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titans. Here in the Nick Hart Show with Coach Hart. Kind of talked about last week's big victory over Washington, 45-6. I want to talk a little bit about the 3A polls and the IFCA poll. Heritage Hills now number 4, sitting at that 4 spot through week 7 in the 3A state rankings, and the AP poll sitting at 6th. One thing I did notice, in these top 10 teams, there are 3 games they're playing this week. Only 3 of those teams have a winning record. One of them being Gibson Southern taking on 4-3 Mount Vernon. Talk a little bit about the conference as well. Gibson Southern sitting at top, undefeated in the big school division, 3-0. Heritage Hills and Boonville sitting right behind them at 2-1. Mount Vernon, Princeton 1-2 in the conference, and Washington 0-3 through week 7. Week 8 this week. Go ahead. I'll bring up the small school. Got to give a shout out to my alma mater, North Posey and Southridge, both sitting at 4-0 on the season. Forest Park, Tell City behind them with the 2-2 records, then followed by South Spencer, then Pike Central, then Tecumseh at the bottom. But got another big game coming up for Gibson Southern on this Friday. We will travel to Mount Vernon, take on 4-3 Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon last week fell short to Heritage Hills, 49-3. So far this season for Mount Vernon, had the first season opener against North Posey, took a loss, and then, went to the lab, got to work, and won 4 straight. Now they've got 2 straight losses to Boonville and Heritage Hills, so they're going to be coming out ready for this game. Got a big matchup, this is one of those teams that might have that rhythm to where we're here to take down the top dogs. So, Coach Hart, what's some tell me a little bit about Vernon, kind of what you've seen scouting so far.
Yeah, offensively, they're a spread team. The Burnett kid at quarterback's a 4-year starter. So we've gone against him several times. They have some really good weapons around him at receiver and running back. And they do a good job of kind of mixing in, run pass. The Burnett kid is a good runner. So he gets involved in the run game. They've put up, I think they're averaging about 28 points a game. They've put up a good number of points. They had a hard time getting going last Friday against Heritage Hills. And that one just kind of got away from them. But I think other than that, they've played really well offensively throughout the course of the year. So it'll be a good test, for us defensively. And then, on their defense, they give a lot of different looks. Week to week, it's kind of different in what they do. So, we're going to prepare for a lot of looks this week, try and get our guys ready to go. And, the nice thing for us is, being a zone scheme team, you just kind of follow your zone rules. What they line up in doesn't, really matter to our guys up front. We just follow our rules and run our tracks. So, but we'll look at, all those looks this week, try and get our guys as prepared as we can going into Friday night.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by National Vet Help, by Tech Systems, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, Make Your Mark, Lowry Ag, Little Miracles, L&B Boutique, Kiesel Wagner Survey, Kathy Solman Photography, Casey Gray, Fuquay State Farm Agent, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Johnson Commercial Mowing, JMCO Technologies, Jarbo Tax Service, Engler Family Eye Care, IMI Concrete, Hoosier Pain and Posture, Hip Dentistry, Hillside Gardens, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Heritage Federal Credit Union, Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, and by the grandmothers of Jackson Adams.
Yeah, what I've kind of noticed with this Mount Vernon team, they've got some athletic skill players. I can't say too much about it. I got to see them week one. They played a tough North Posey Viking team who was able to kind of use their speed as an asset to get that victory. Got a good running quarterback. I don't know if they have Stewart in the backfield. I don't know if he might have gotten injured as the season's gone on. I don't believe so, but
no, he's still in there.
Yeah, got some threats at the skill players. A lot of teams had some question marks about their offensive lines, but you can see, I'm sure, with a lot of other teams, including, us at Gibson Southern, the offensive lines are going to just continue to get better and improve as the season's gone on. So definitely going to be a big test coming up for the Titans. I do want to kind of take a moment, talk a little bit about the rest of the athletics for Gibson Southern. This won't air till either Wednesday or Thursday at 7, I believe. I think it's Wednesday, but we do have a couple volleyball games. We did have Gibson Southern taking on Vincent's Lincoln. Did you get a score on that one?
Yeah, we won that one 3-0.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. I know we're recording this on Tuesday. So as we speak, the volleyball girls will take on Pike Central today. JV starts at 5 p.m. And then Thursday, they've got a freshman game at Forest Park, as well as a varsity and JV contest as well. So all three teams will be taking on Forest Park at Gibson Southern. 5 p.m. freshman start time, 5:30 JV start time with the 7:30 varsity start. And then the freshman team will take on Heritage Hills football at Heritage Hills at 6 p.m. Thursday. And then obviously we'll lead into Friday being the big varsity matchup at Mount Vernon. But back to Mount Vernon, like we mentioned, 4-3 record. Got a great dual threat quarterback. Defense is going to have some different schemes. So we talked about the zone, how we'll kind of be able to adjust to whatever their defense is passing wise. What does it look like they're going to kind of try to stop against Gibson Southern?
Mostly in the secondary this year, they've been cover 3 and some man concepts in there as well. I think the back end has been more consistent scheme wise for them this year than kind of the front. A lot of cover 3. They'll mix in some man to man, and again, I think it kind of depends on the opponent on how much man they're playing. Last Friday they played a lot more man than they have in other weeks. It's a lot of cover 3 with man mixed in, and they do a good job on the back end.
And with that, well, actually, we had some games last week. The freshmen traveled to Apollo Thursday, got that 36-23 victory over the Eagles. I guess it turned into a pretty frustrating trip due to construction and traffic, but at least they made it there and back in one piece with a victory.
Yeah, it took them over 2 hours to get to Owensboro with all the different construction stuff going on. They couldn't get across the river, went a couple different ways. So, it was a long trip, but they made it worth it going out and getting a nice win.
Yep, 3-1 on the year. Only loss is that overtime game against Henderson County. I believe that was their first game of the season.
Yes.
Okay. And then also the Junior Titans traveled to Vincennes Thursday night, came away with a 6-0 loss. Vincennes scored in the third quarter, but stopped the PAT. Unfortunately, they couldn't score to tie or get the lead. So the 7th grade falls to 5-1. Got a big North Posey game this coming Thursday, I believe. And then the South Gibson Junior Titans traveled to Princeton Thursday night. The 8th grade had little trouble, got their 5th win, 44-0 over Princeton. And they'll travel to North Posey next Thursday as well and take on that Viking squad. But we'll take a quick break. When we come back, talk a little bit more about the game coming up on Friday. But don't go anywhere. You're listening to 89.1 The Bash.
The Nick Hart Show is brought to you by Perfect Climate Heating and Air, Whole Concrete Construction, Pro Rehab, Rawhide Golf, Remax Revolution, Ripco Systems, Roberts Boring, Trenching and Excavating, Sandy's Pizza, Schellers Carriage Inn, Shearer Monuments, Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Stodgel Funeral Home, Stodgel Monuments, Tim Barge Seed, Tai Chow, Titan Construction Partners, Triad Fabricators, TYFL, United Fidelity Bank, Vertical Tile Incorporated, Vicki Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, Wash Boss, We Simply Clean LLC, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, and by Young's Auto Body.
Hello and welcome back to 89.1 The Bash, your home for the Gibson Southern Titans. Here with Nick Hart, Coach Hart for the Nick Hart Show, Week 8. And boy, has this season flown by. You got the 2 months of the offseason and everyone's getting frustrated, getting anxious, just ready for that season to start, get some football games going. Been a great season so far. But one thing I did notice that we had talked about will be senior night for this Mount Vernon team in the game on Friday. Their last home game is they will take on Tell City in their final game of the season at Tell City. Kind of talk about the environment for this senior night home game coming up against Mount Vernon, Coach Hart.
Yeah, it's always a good environment. When we go down there, I know that they'll want their senior night to be a win. And it's a big game for us. I think, two of the things, we're talking about. One is, we control our own destiny in the conference race. To win these last two games and not share it with somebody, is important to us. And, also, the draw is coming up this Sunday, and it's hard to believe that we're this far through the season, but the draw is coming up this Sunday. And, we only have 2 weeks of practice and two games, to get playing our best, before the tournament starts. And it's, win or go home. So, I think, those two things, make this week, really important. You want to stay up in the conference race, and we got to continue to get better and keep peaking towards playing our best football, before the tournament starts.
Yeah, and I think we're getting pretty darn close. Had a great a great kind of middle to second half of this season, winning out, taking on some, tough Kentucky teams, but, been able to learn a lot, improve a lot since those games have happened. Going to be an exciting end to the season. It's tough, being that 4-0 team in the conference. Now it's these last few teams, everyone's just taking a shot. Everyone wants a piece of the top dog, seeing they can knock them off. Tell me how much it means for your team to kind of keep a composure and, or show respect for these other teams, but still being on top and still being able to, come out on top as the season ends.
Yeah. I think it's a great thing when you're seeing everybody's best shot. It really helps prepare you for the playoffs. I think one thing we got to get better at, and we did a good job of it last Friday. But we've talked about it on here. We've been slow starters to start the season. Starting games. Those first couple drives are not our best drives. We've tried some different things in practice, and admittedly, it hasn't worked great. I think getting out of the gate is important. You don't want to always be playing from behind. We have plenty of experience in doing that. Getting out to a good start and executing at a high level, from the get-go.
Yeah, definitely. That's something we would really like to see. Like to see a nice, beautiful opening drive. Obviously defense is out there first. Love to get a 3 and out, but I think, being able to have the confidence and being able to get that done these next two games is going to build a lot of confidence going forward as the playoffs comes in. You got that first game in sectionals. You start with the football, just march it down the field and get that score. Just really makes an opponent feel like, these guys mean business and they are not taking this game lightly. I feel like with that, the Southridge and the Heritage Hills games in this season, two of more of the tougher teams usually in the conference year by year, coming out and putting some quick points on the board, kind of taking that starting lead, to get comfortable going into the rest of the game, kind of making them have to make the big plays as opposed to Gibson Southern playing catch up. But also, I know it's kind of getting away from football, but don't forget, everyone, we have the Fall Festival going on in Evansville. I already have had lunch and dinner, and it's just been one day so far in this festival. A lot of fun, great environment. Coach Hart, you're going to try and get down to that Fall Fest at all this week? I know it's business. I know you got football, so I completely understand.
No, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this as a West Sider or former West Sider, but no, I won't be there. Between we're hosting the boys soccer sectional this week, and football going on. That's got most of my time, and so I'll leave all the fried food and everything to you. Make sure that there's plenty for you, and it's probably not a trip I'm going to be making this year.
And me, this chubby boy loves the fried foods. I've already got my fill. Me and my girlfriend, last year we started a tradition. We went to the caricature drawings, and they drew us a picture last year. We just got that done yesterday for this year. So always kind of fun to make something a little bit out of it. If you're a football coach, obviously it's going to be really tough, especially, when you're kind of a little bit around a half hour away from the area. But, feel free to come eat some fried foods. Don't eat too much. I told myself I was going to start working out this week, and then I remembered it was a fall fest. It's like, well, I'll just put it off for a week. So really had some fun yesterday. But back to Friday, looks like it's going to be some beautiful weather. Going to get some rain on Thursday. Hopefully not, but looking to be about 75 as the high. So around 7, going to be a little over 60. Going to be some beautiful weather. Finally starting to really feel that football weather. But I think that's about all we have. Coach, you got anything else? Did we miss anything? Games going on this week or anything with the junior football teams?
We got a couple of things. It's tournament season. Our boys tennis team won the sectional on Saturday, so they're in the regional this week, and boys and girls soccer are in their sectionals this week. I know this is going to air later, but we beat Princeton in the boys sectional last night to advance to the next round, and then cross country has the PAC on Saturday at Pike Central. So it's tournament time. Everybody's gearing up, either in their tournaments or gearing up for them. So it's an exciting time, as everybody's getting started here.
Yeah, I got the soccer sectionals going on. I know volleyball, they've got 3 games this week, and that is their last 3 games of the season. So we'll see. I assume that sectional draw is going to happen on Sunday. So next week, we'll start the volleyball sectionals.
Also at Gibson Southern. We're
even better. Beautiful.
We're the super hosts this fall. We got boys soccer here and also volleyball. It's great to be able to host that and let our kids play here and have a little home field, home court advantage, for their tournament.
So you heard it, got some playoff games going on. Gibson Southern, the host, get as many fans as possible. The great thing about Indiana is it doesn't matter how good or bad you do, you could still make something out of yourself, finish off this season strong in the playoffs. So definitely try and get all your friends, all your family, as much support as you can. Come support these Titan athletic programs. Sure, they would really appreciate it. But that is all we've got for week 7. So Friday, October the 6th, Gibson Southern going to travel to Mount Vernon, take on the Wildcats. Going to be their senior night. Going to be a great environment. Going to be a great atmosphere. Going to be some great weather as well. So don't forget, Friday, October 6th, 7 p.m. start, Gibson Southern at Mount Vernon. But thank you guys for listening. That's all for the Nick Hart Show for week 7. Hopefully we'll see you guys Friday. Go Titans. Thank you for listening to the Nick Hart Show on 89.1 The Bash.
Thanks for listening to the Nick Hart Show. It's a special presentation of the Gibson Southern Football Boosters, including Young's Auto Body, Whitledge Tree Service LLC, We Simply Clean LLC, Wash Boss, Vicky Townsend FC Tucker Realtor, Vertical Tile Incorporated, United Fidelity Bank, TYFL, Triad Fabricators, Titan Construction Partners, Tai Chow, Tin Barge Seed, Stodgel Monuments, Stodgel Funeral Home, by Scotty's Lawn Equipment, Shearer Monuments, Scherer's Carriage Inn, Sandy's Pizza, Roberts Boring, Trenching, and Excavating, Ripco Systems, by Remax Revolution, Rawhide Golf, Pro Rehab, Pole Concrete Construction, Perfect Climate Heating and Air, National Vet Help, MyTech Systems, in memory of Darwin and Eric Kalis, and by Make Your Mark, Lowry Ag, Little Miracles, L&B Boutique, Kiesel Wagner Survey, Kathy Salmon Photography, Casey Gray Fuquay State Farm Agent, K&K Excavating Incorporated, Johnson Commercial Mowing, JMCO Technologies, by Jarbo Tax Service, Engler Family Eye Care, IMI Concrete, Hoosier Pain and Posture, by Hip Dentistry, Hillside Gardens, Heritage Petroleum LLC, Heritage Federal Credit Union, by Hobstadt Summerfest, Hobstadt Family Dentistry, the Grandmothers of Jackson Adams, Full Metal Armory, the Fort Branch Dairy Queen, Foster Construction, Fort Branch Car Wash, ERA First Advantage Realty Rodney Langford, Emerson Cattle Company, by Edward Jones Financial Advisor Jason Rainey, the Dunkel Family Friends of Mason Scheller, by Duke Energy, Du Bois County Garage Doors Incorporated, Drosty's Jewelry Shops, Diversified Investment Services, Daywig Meats of Hobstadt, Daylight Land Management, Davis Brothers, Courtney Barnes, Nolcon Marketing, Brett's Car Care, Baker Tax and Financial Services, Angermeyer Electric, AM Transport, All Trade Solutions LLC, AgriGold, ADG Architecture and Design Group, and by A&T Concrete. The Nick Hart Show, a special sports production of the Wabash Valley College Radio, TV, and Digital Media Department, and your home for the Titans, 89.1 The Bash.